You want to know why your plans fail, why your income doesn't stretch, why your days feel empty, even though you're busy all the time. It starts with what you neglect at the very core of your existence. The moment you begin skipping your salah, your prayer, you are silently choosing to unplug from the source of all strength, direction, and barakah. You can hustle all day, chase every opportunity, and still feel like you're climbing a mountain with no summit in sight. Because it's not just about action, it's about connection. Without salah, you're navigating life in darkness, thinking your own wisdom and effort will be enough, but it never is. There are people out there doing far less than you, working fewer hours, living in smaller spaces, and yet they sleep peacefully at night, they smile more genuinely, and they feel fulfilled. You know what the difference is? They don't just pray, they rely on their prayer. They see it as their lifeline, not an obligation. Salah isn't 5 interruptions in your day, it's 5 resets, 5 moments of realignment, 5 power-ups to your soul, your focus, your intention. But when you treat it like a checkbox, or worse, skip it entirely, you're turning away from the one who controls everything you're chasing. A lot of people say, I'll pray when I feel closer to God. That's like saying, I'll eat when I'm full. It doesn't work like that. You feel empty because you haven't prayed. Your chest feels tight because your heart has been starved of remembrance. Your mind is overwhelmed because it's trying to carry burdens that were never meant to be carried alone. Prayer is the meeting point where you place your worries on the ground and pick up strength instead. But if that meeting never happens, the worries don't leave, and the weight only grows heavier. Don't underestimate how even one missed prayer breaks the rhythm of your day. It's not just the time lost, it's the light lost. When you pray Fajr on time, it does something to your mindset. You're up before the world, you've spoken to your Creator, you've set your intentions. Your day hasn't just started, it's been blessed. But when you miss it, the rest of the day feels off. You might not even realize why you're irritated, distracted, or anxious. It's because your soul knew it needed that connection and it never got it. Now imagine missing not one prayer but multiple. Imagine skipping entire days of salah. The damage isn't visible like a cut on your hand, but it's deeper. It's like a crack in the foundation of a house. You can't see it at first, but slowly, things start falling apart. Your patience weakens. Your relationships become tense. Your time feels insufficient. Your risk, your opportunities, your income, they start to shrink. That's not a coincidence. That's a direct result of neglecting the one thing that was designed to sustain your inner system. And if you think that because you're achieving material success you're fine without prayer, you're only fooling yourself. There's no blessing in success that comes without God. You might earn more but you'll spend it all. You might rise in status but your heart will stay low. You might be surrounded by people but still feel alone. True barakah isn't about how much you have. It's about how much benefit comes from it. And nothing brings barakah like consistent, sincere prayer. The problem today is that we've made everything else a priority. We schedule our meetings, our workouts, our classes, our social time, but we squeeze salah in as an afterthought. Or worse, we say, I'll pray when I get home, knowing deep down we probably won't. If you can stop everything to answer a phone call from your boss, how can you ignore the call from the creator of your boss? If you can pause to scroll through your feed, you have time to stand before the one who gave you those eyes to see with. It's not about time, it's about value. What are you placing value on? Because where your attention goes, your barakah flows. And it's not just about the act of praying, it's about how you pray. If you're rushing through it, thinking about everything except the one you're speaking to, then don't be surprised if the effects don't show up in your life. Prayer isn't a ritual. It's a conversation. It's a declaration of surrender. It's you saying, I can't do this alone. When done with presence, even a 2-minute prayer can realign your entire outlook. But when done carelessly, it becomes an empty form that carries no weight. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is that we're too busy, that the day is packed, that we'll make it up later. But time itself is a creation of the one you're delaying for. If you give him his right on time, he will stretch your minutes and bless your hours in a way you can't explain. Things you thought would take a week get done in a day. Things you were chasing come chasing you instead. That's Barakah. That's the hidden hand of mercy working in your favor, but it starts with you keeping your end of the connection. You want clarity? Pray. You want peace? Pray. You want barakah in your wealth, your health, your relationships, your mind? Pray. And don't just do it for the outcome. Do it because it's your duty, because your soul deserves it, because your Creator asked you to. Everything else you do in life is a reflection of who you are. But prayer, that's a reflection of who you believe in. If you really want to change your life, fix your salah. Make it your anchor, your center, your first response to every situation, not your last resort. There's no better strategy, no better habit, no better investment than bowing your head to the one who knows what's ahead. That's where your barakah begins. That's where your fortune is protected. That's where your soul finds home. And if you get that right, everything else starts to fall into place. Maybe not instantly, but certainly. And that certainty alone is more valuable than anything this world can offer. You can't expect your life to be filled with barakah when the foundation you're building on is tainted. You can't expect peace when what you're consuming physically, mentally, spiritually is contaminated with what's haram. That's not just a warning. That's a fact. One too many people ignore until their soul begins to feel like it's suffocating. There's a direct connection between what you allow into your life and what kind of energy surrounds you. You might think no one sees what you do behind closed doors, but the effect of those actions ripples through your entire existence. You feel it in your mood, your focus, your health, and your sustenance. When we talk about consuming haram, people often jump straight to income. And yes, money earned through cheating, lying, bribery, riba, interest, deception, or any unethical trade is poison to your life. But it doesn't stop there. What you watch, what you listen to, what you allow to entertain you, if it contradicts your values, if it breaks your soul while amusing your ego, it is just as destructive. People underestimate how quickly a haram source can dry up the blessings from an otherwise good life. A man can earn $1,000 a day, but if it comes from dishonest means, he will lose it faster than he earned it. He may have money, but it won't bring ease. His car will break down, his home will feel chaotic, his sleep will be restless, his family will feel distant. That's the invisible punishment that comes without bars or lashes. It's the erosion of peace, the absence of contentment. And let's talk about food. Something so seemingly harmless. If what you're eating comes from haram income, don't expect purity in your heart. You are what you consume. That food becomes your flesh, your blood, your very cells. If it's purchased through forbidden earnings, you're feeding your body poison in the form of nourishment. Then you wonder why your du'as aren't accepted, why you feel a disconnect during prayer, why you're angry without cause. You're feeding your body with what your soul rejects. The Prophet spoke about the man who raises his hands to the sky in desperation, begging for Allah's help, but his food is haram, his drink is haram, his clothing is haram. And the response, how can he be answered? This isn't about legalistic details. It's about spiritual clarity. You can't expect rain when you've built a roof over your own soul. You block the mercy you're praying for with the actions you're not willing to stop. It goes deeper than that too. Think of the content you watch. People say, it's just entertainment. But your mind doesn't know the difference. The music, the shows, the movies that glorify sin, mock faith, normalize cheating, lust, arrogance and rebellion, all of that shapes your thoughts, dulls your conscience and invites darkness. You don't have to commit the sins to feel their consequences. Just watching them with enjoyment is enough to corrode your inner purity. You might think it's harmless, but it accumulates. One song, one scene, one scroll. It builds a mental world where sin becomes normal and modesty feels strange. Then you start wondering why your salah feels empty, why your heart feels numb. You filled it with what was impure and expected purity in return. People think they can compartmentalize, this is my work life, this is my spiritual life, this is my spiritual life. this is just how I relax. But the soul doesn't operate in compartments. It's a single thread running through every part of you. If one part is corrupted, the whole being feels it. You can't lie at work, scroll filth on your phone, listen to music that calls you to rebellion, and then expect your heart to soften in sujood. It doesn't work like that. You can't feed your ego all day and expect your soul to show up at night. And this isn't about being judgmental or extreme. It's about being real. If you truly want peace, fortune, barakah, you have to guard your inputs. What you eat, what you earn, what you listen to, what you watch, what you wear, where your money comes from and where it goes. These things matter more than you realize. The world teaches you to chase comfort, to follow your desires, to make your own rules. But true power comes from discipline. True freedom comes from purity. When you start filtering your life through the lens of halal and haram, everything begins to change. Your money may not double overnight, but your anxiety might cut in half. You might not get more clients, but your stress lowers, your sleep improves, your heart softens. That's barakah, quiet invisible blessings that transform your experience of life without changing its appearance. Start with your income. Ask yourself, is this job honest? Are my dealings transparent? Am I stepping on others to climb? Am I playing games with numbers, taking bribes, fudging truths to win favor? If yes, understand that you're building a castle on sand. It may stand tall for a while, but it will collapse. And when it does, you won't just lose wealth. You'll lose dignity, purpose, peace. Then audit your consumption. What are you letting into your eyes, your ears, your mind? Is it feeding your strength or draining your spirit? Your phone, your TV, your music, your conversations, are they keeping your soul awake or putting it to sleep? You become what you repeatedly expose yourself to. You can't plant seeds of filth and expect the flowers of faith to bloom. Start filtering, start cleansing, start choosing differently. It doesn't require perfection. It requires sincerity. Every effort counts. Every moment you choose purity over temptation, you shine light into your life. Every coin earned with honesty, every bite from a halal source, every second spent with clean content, those are investments in barakah. And barakah is not just about more, it's about better, deeper, richer, more meaningful. You're not just protecting your dunya, you're protecting your akhirah. You're preparing your soul for its return. Because when the grave hugs you, your titles and followers won't matter, but the purity you lived with, the choices you made when no one was watching, those will speak louder than any resume or bank account ever could. Choose halal. Choose clean. Choose sincerity over image, integrity over ease. Because when you do, the doors of barakah don't just open, they pour. And what flows from those doors is far greater than anything haram ever promised. You might be wondering why your du'as aren't being answered, why you feel like something is always missing, why your rizq feels blocked, your peace stolen, and your heart heavy. And most of the time, the answer doesn't lie in what you're doing, it lies in what you've broken. You've broken something that carries immense weight in the heavens, the ties of kinship. And when you break the very connections Allah commanded you to uphold, you're not just cutting off people, you're cutting off blessings. One of the most dangerous mistakes stealing your barakah and fortune is the neglect of family ties and the harboring of grudges. You see, when you choose to stay angry, when you decide to cut someone off, especially your own blood, your parents, siblings, uncles, aunts or even close cousins, you're not just making a personal decision, you're making a spiritual decision. Because family isn't random, family is chosen by Allah, and the ties that link you are sacred. When you disrespect them, you're indirectly disrespecting the one who created them. You might think, but they hurt me, they don't deserve my forgiveness, they never reach out. That may all be true, and this doesn't mean you need to tolerate abuse or allow yourself to be mistreated, but it does mean you cannot sever what Allah has ordered to be maintained. Even a small gesture, a message, a dua, a gift, a visit, can be the olive branch that reopens the doors of mercy in your life. Because when you reconnect, even slightly, with someone you cut off, the spiritual chains begin to break, barriers start to lift. You're no longer carrying the burden of arrogance, anger or ego. You're choosing humility over pride, and that alone invites barakah. People think grudges are harmless, But a grudge is like poison you keep sipping hoping the other person will suffer. All it really does is weigh you down. It occupies your thoughts, fuels your negativity, drains your energy, and worst of all it darkens your heart. And a dark heart cannot reflect light. So you walk around with success in your hand, but no ability to feel it. You have a house but no peace. You have people around you but you feel lonely. You have moments of joy, but they vanish too quickly. That's what a blocked heart does. It repels every blessing that tries to reach it. And then there are the silent grudges, the ones you've carried for so long you've forgotten the original reason, but the barrier still exists. You still avoid the person. You still roll your eyes when their name is mentioned. You still refuse to make the first move. You still wait for them to apologize before you even consider softening your heart. But the truth is, you're not punishing them. You're punishing yourself. You're delaying your own healing. You're holding the key to your own chains, refusing to unlock them. There's a reason the Prophet emphasized the importance of family ties so deeply. He said that whoever wants to have his provision expanded and his life prolonged, should maintain his family ties. Think about that. This is not just a moral instruction, it's a life hack. Want more income? Heal your relationships. Want a longer, more fulfilling life? Reconnect with your kin. That's how much weight family carries in our spiritual ecosystem. It's not optional. It's a direct pathway to divine favor, or a blockage, if you turn away from it. And don't think for a moment that this only applies to biological family. It applies to every heart you've closed off unjustly, every friend you cut off because of your ego, every person you ghosted without explanation, every sibling you haven't spoken to in months or years, because neither of you wanted to take the first step. Life is too short to be led by pride, and too long to carry grudges. The longer you hold on to them, the more barakah you're allowing to slip through your fingers. There's an incredible power in forgiveness, not just for the one receiving it, but especially for the one giving it. The moment you forgive, the heart opens, and when the heart opens, blessings can enter. You'll notice it immediately, in your sleep, in your thoughts, in your du'as, in your mood, in your work, in your health. Because barakah isn't always material, it's often emotional, psychological, spiritual, and a clean heart is the perfect vessel for it. You might say, but I tried and they rejected me. That's okay. You are only responsible for your effort, not their response. Allah sees your intention, and He knows when you genuinely tried to fix something, even if it wasn't reciprocated. You'll be rewarded for the effort alone, because you did it for His sake, not theirs. And sometimes you won't get an apology, sometimes you won't get closure, but you'll get peace, and that's worth more. Reconnecting doesn't mean you pretend everything is fine. It doesn't mean you ignore boundaries. It means you rise above the bitterness. You act with mercy. You show a higher level of character. You say, I don't need to win this fight. I just want to win with Allah. That's the mindset that transforms your life. That's the decision that flips the switch back on, allowing light to flood in where darkness once lingered. Your fortune isn't just in your hands, it's in your heart, and the condition of your heart is directly tied to how you treat people, especially those closest to you. If your heart is closed off because of old wounds, bitterness and ego, don't be surprised when doors in your life also remain shut. But the moment you soften, the moment you humble yourself and say, I forgive you, or even I want peace between us, you'll feel the shift. Something inside you will begin to heal, and when the heart heals, the life begins to transform. So don't delay that call, don't hold off on that message, don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now, because the longer you wait, the more barakah you lose. Rebuild that bridge, let go of what's heavy, make peace your priority, and watch how the doors that were sealed shut begin to open, one by one effortlessly. Because that's what happens when you align with mercy. Mercy finds you, fortune follows you, and barakah returns to you. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools you've been given, and yet it's the one most people forget to use. The moment you stop being grateful, is the moment your life starts to feel empty, no matter how full it may look from the outside. You can have the best job, the nicest house, the latest phone, but if your heart lacks gratitude, you'll still wake up tired, still feel restless, still want more. And that's the tragedy.
when the blessings are all around you, but your eyes are too blind to see them. You start living in a cycle of comparison and complaints, and nothing steals barakah faster than that. Barakah isn't just about more, it's about enough. It's about contentment that makes even the smallest things feel rich. But when you stop appreciating what you have, and constantly chase what others show, you trade your inner peace for external illusions. You begin scrolling through social media, measuring your life against carefully curated snapshots, and suddenly your own blessings look dull. Your home doesn't feel good enough, your clothes seem outdated, your car feels small, your income feels low. But the problem isn't in what you have, it's in how you see what you have. Complaining is like declaring to the world, and to Allah, that what He's given you isn't enough. And how can you expect increase when you don't even value the current? Allah promises in the Quran, if you are grateful, I will increase you. It's a guarantee, not a suggestion, not a maybe. A divine law. But the opposite is also true. Ingratitude leads to loss, and not just material loss. You lose your light, your optimism, your joy. The soul starts to shrink under the weight of dissatisfaction. Most people think gratitude is only about saying Alhamdulillah with their tongue, but real gratitude is a lifestyle. It's how you treat your blessings, it's how you protect your time, how you spend your money, how you care for your health, how you speak to your parents, how you maintain your prayer. Gratitude isn't just an emotion, it's a responsibility. If you're truly grateful for your health, you won't ruin your body with bad habits. If you're truly grateful for your job, you won't waste hours in laziness. If you're truly grateful for your family, you'll make time for them, not just excuses. But the problem is deeper than laziness or distraction. It's entitlement. We live in a time where people feel like they deserve everything, and if something doesn't go their way, they act like they've been wronged. They expect perfection from life, from people, from situations, and when they don't get it, they complain. Whine about traffic, about weather, about slow Wi-Fi, about small inconveniences, as if life owes them comfort 24/7. That's not just unhealthy, it's spiritually dangerous, because the more you complain, the more blind you become. You stop noticing the blessings you used to pray for. And here's the ironic part, the people who have the most often show the least gratitude, and the people with the least are often the most grateful. You'll find someone with barely enough food still saying Alhamdulillah with a full heart. You'll find someone with chronic illness still smiling and thanking Allah for every day they wake up. Meanwhile, someone else with comfort, wealth, health and opportunity still complains about how life is unfair. Gratitude has nothing to do with quantity, it's a condition of the heart. It's a way of looking at life through a lens of appreciation, not expectation. If you want to transform your life, don't start by changing your income, or your location, or your followers. Start by changing your mindset. Wake up in the morning, and instead of reaching for your phone, reach into your heart, and say thank you. Thank you for another day. Thank you for breath. Thank you for sight. Thank you for food. Thank you for a roof. Thank you for another chance to try again. That simple shift can realign your entire day, because when you begin with gratitude, you open the door to more. You signal to the heavens that you recognize the gift, and the giver. And here's what most people don't understand. Being ungrateful doesn't just block new blessings, it ruins the ones you already have. It turns your spouse into a burden instead of a blessing. It turns your job into a prison instead of an opportunity. It turns your home into a source of stress instead of safety. Gratitude doesn't change your situation, it changes you. And then you begin to change your situation with that new energy. So what's the solution? It's simple but not easy. Catch yourself every time you complain. Stop mid-sentence and reframe. Instead of saying I have to go to work, say I get to go to work. Instead of saying I'm tired of this house, say I'm blessed to have shelter. Instead of saying why is everything so hard, say this challenge is making me stronger. Gratitude isn't pretending everything is perfect, it's recognizing the good, even when things are imperfect. And it's that attitude that brings barakah flowing back into your life. One of the greatest ways to show gratitude is through giving. When you appreciate what you have, you want to share it. You give your time, your attention, your money, your skills, and when you give sincerely, from a place of thanks not ego, you attract divine generosity. Allah gives more to the ones who give from what they love, because giving is proof of gratitude, and gratitude is the seed of abundance. Don't let the culture of constant comparison steal your barakah. Don't let the endless chase for more make you blind to what you already have. You may not have everything, but you have something, and that something could be someone else's dream. If you want to keep it, protect it, and if you want to grow it, appreciate it. In a world that constantly screams, you need more, learn to whisper to your soul, I have enough. Learn to sit quietly and thank the Creator before you beg for the next thing. Learn to pause and feel the warmth of what you already hold before you chase the coldness of what you don't. Gratitude is power. It's wealth without money, peace without silence, joy without entertainment, and barakah without calculation. If you want your fortune to return, then let your thankfulness rise, because when the heart is full of thanks, the hands never stay empty, and when Allah sees that, He gives more than you imagined, and more than you thought you deserved.